So you've got the winter blues. We no longer have Christmas to comfort us or distract us, and we have an undeniable pressure on ourselves and from society to just knuckle down and achieve things and be productive and get the year off to a flying start. Sometimes this isn't how it goes, and we know this. We know that January is just hard. But this winter I wanted to take a bit of a stand. I want to stop wishing that summer was here. If you're sick of accepting a slightly lower quality of life in winter and just waiting around for summer, then you are in the right place. I got you. I hope I'm in focus. In this video, I'm going to lay out practical ways and mindset changes for you to not only tolerate winter and not only live comfortably and happily throughout winter, but to take advantage of the things that winter has to offer that summer doesn't. First, I want to touch on productivity shame. As I mentioned in the intro, this time of year just has a crazy amount of pressure to be productive, and I just want to let you know that some mornings will just get lost in it, and that's okay. There is a balance between self-compassion and self-discipline and not going too far either way. I personally think that I let myself off a lot more in winter just because it is hard. But again, it's just a balance. Like, some days I have extreme discipline and some days I have to kind of be in check, in tune with my body and allow it to rest and things, because we do require more fuel and more rest, and injuries are more prevalent in colder months. Give yourself a little bit of a break, but then some days it is absolutely worth forcing yourself to do hard things. And we're not always going to get it right, and I feel like I've got better at listening to myself and having a better idea, but we're not always going to get it right, and that's okay as well. Don't beat yourself up. If you've made a decision, stand by it. We don't want the cognitive dissonance eating us up inside, but you're not alone with that if you struggle with discipline and compassion within yourself. It is just a skill to be practiced. And number 2, keeping warm. I'm sure you've noticed my beautiful Icelandic jumper, hand knitted by my very talented mother. She does have a knitting channel if you're interested. I will leave that down in the description. It is 100% wool, as is this lovely top, and this one, whoosh, this one is cashmere, which is actually warmer than wool. It's the first winter I've actually paid attention to different fibres, and I didn't know cashmere was warmer than wool. It's not as durable as wool, and it's not good for layering because you end up causing pilling and things, but I have pretty much switched out my whole wardrobe of jumpers and cardigans for natural warm fibres. It makes such a difference because you can get thermals, and I have thermals that are like a man-made fibre, and I've been on hikes in them and I just get so clammy, but when I wear merino thermals and all natural fibres as jumpers and things, it's warm and it's breathable, and that is why it is superior. And I highly recommend, if you're struggling with the cold, go for wool and check labels, see how much is in there. Lamb's wool is great, merino is amazing if you don't like itchiness. It's very soft and will keep you toasty. Another thing to keep warm, and I know this sounds horrible if you don't already do it, it's something that I've embraced more as an adult than like a young teen or anything, but exercise. Hear me out. I've done some amazing winter walks this year through snowy forests, and I've done my usual MMA classes and things. I just want to point out how good it feels when you've been shivering and numb toes all day, and there's no way that you've found to keep warm that day, and then you go and do a workout, or you go on an uphill hike out in the elements, or to a cold MMA gym, and you move, and the blood flow and the warmth that's generated is just unmatched. When I was younger, I didn't think I'd ever be like an exercise person, and especially when my parents used to drag me out on hikes, I was just like, how was this fun? And people kind of have this misconception that summer is the time for hiking, but winter has a lot to offer, and obviously check your mountain Met Office forecasts and things. But I have a lot of hikes in mind because it's just so fulfilling. You get the reward sense of the workout or the hike, and then you get warm. And it's the best way to get warm, in my opinion. And then if you're wearing wool and you sweat, it's breathable. So it's not going to be clammy and disgusting like if you were to wear a lot of fur-lined tights or anything that give you Number 3 kind of goes in hand with number 2 of keeping warm through exercise. Number 3 is novel experiences. This is just so exciting to me, and it's the kind of thing I live by anyway, whatever the season, and that's why I've emphasized it in this and brought it into this little list of mine, because I need to make a video on novel experiences as a whole, because if you live by that, by making sure that you have frequent novel experiences, your life will be profoundly better than if you weren't to live by it. I haven't been snowboarding in a few years. That's something I'm going to do as like a solo date. And then new mountains that I want to climb. If you start to think of like novel things you could do, I feel like it just causes a positive spiral, and that's before you've even done anything. The significance of novel experiences is predominantly that it's a way of making time go slower. And I know they say time flies when you're having fun, but in actual scientific studies, this part sounds really depressing, but the next part isn't. Our perception of time is that when we're getting older, time seems to move faster because each day is a smaller fraction of our life than if we were still kids, and a day feels like it's a long time, and 6 weeks holidays feels like it's a long time because it's a bigger portion of your life up until that point. So when you get older, days are like bam, 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 gone. And they've found that the way to tackle this is to have novel experiences. It also stops your brain from efficiently storing memories. So if you do the same thing day in, day out, your brain is going to store it efficiently and blur the days and the years into one. So by having novel experiences, you're having more fun, creating new synapses in your brain, learning new skills, moving your body in new ways, you have more fun stories to tell, and you get rid of the scariest thought out there, which is that time goes faster as you get older. So novel experiences to make your winter more exciting and your life more exciting. Number 4 is one of my favourites this year because I've been paying a lot of attention to it. Dark skies. We all know it. We all know it's easier to see the sunrises and the sunsets. Something I learnt this year though, I kind of maybe knew deep down or subconsciously, but it was confirmed this year to me. The stars are actually brighter in winter because the sun is interfering less with the light and things. I'm sure you've noticed that Venus and Jupiter and Mars are just shimmering away up there. But yeah, they're actually brighter in winter, and also they're brighter when it's a new moon, when there's no moon in the sky. So either the full moon is serving us beautifulness or the stars are. So in my last video I went out on an adventure to see the moon set, sunrise happen at the same time, because obviously the moon rises and sets change day to day and the cycle is a lot faster than the sun cycle, and every so often it lines up, and I'd put it in my planner and went out to see it and things. That time there was too much cloud, but I'm sure you've seen it accidentally at some point, and I made a conscious effort this winter to plan in advance, because you can look up, I'm going to leave all the links in the description. This is like, it makes me so excited. timeanddate.com. If you look up moon phases, moon sets, moon rises and the sunset and sunrise. I don't think my plan is up here, but I have written in my calendar when it aligns and when I plan on going out with my camera, and then just keeping up to date with star events as well. I've got my little almanac this year, and I'm actually reading it because I've had almanacs in the past and then just never got round to using them, which is terrible. It has all the moon phases and the dates, and it tells you what the stars are doing, what the planets are doing. Later this month, we're supposed to have an alignment of planets. How exciting. And I've always been excited by the sun, moon and stars. I think the difference this year is actually planning and researching. And another thing, so there's timeanddate.com, there's Almanac, and then there's also Aurora UK. So when it's likely to have northern lights in our sky, I get a text message. As I'm getting older, I'm just realising how much being in tune with nature and just having experiences in nature makes me happy. Being in the know about the sky, it's made me so happy this winter. I just wanted to share that with you and all the tools I'm using to put that into action. Number 5 is a little mindset tip. I've got a lot of changes happening and I'm going after new goals and things. It tends to be what happens in January, and something that I've been constantly reminding myself of. I think I've heard this in different wording over the years and kind of not paid too much attention to it, but it really helps to speak to yourself and remind yourself of things like this. And that is that big changes come from lots and lots of micro shifts and investments in yourself. The best investments are over a long period of time. We want quick change. Everybody wants quick change, but tiny steps in the right direction every day. We know how time flies. If while time is flying, we are making tiny steps towards our goals and micro shifts consistently, you know you will get there. Another kind of view of this is you don't have to see the full staircase before making the first step. And I know that's true for a lot of online stuff like YouTube and Instagram. If you have an idea of where you want to take it, just start. Or like a painting, you can always paint over it if you don't like it. You can always sidestep. If you have a business idea, like I have a photography video business that I want to get off the ground, starting and then side shifting into a different niche, that is where it's at. Get the infrastructure, you get it off the ground, and then you make changes. Just start.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
So that is my 5 little topics on thriving in winter instead of just surviving. But I have a little message for you as well. If you have that fire inside of you that is telling you you want more from this life, you want more from this season, then congratulations, because most people just put up with how things are and they don't want to improve themselves or improve their circumstances. So well done, and you're on the right track. And another thing is, if you had everything that you want right now, there'd be nothing to work towards. I am really leaning into this whole enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, because I think they're onto something there. If you feel inspired by this video, or you want to join the movement of bettering ourselves and just going out there and living our best lives, please do give the channel some love, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.